Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast, and this will be episode 71.5. This is a continuation of last Thursday's podcast. I decided to do this, and I'm pre-recording some of this podcast tonight because to follow the Galloping Ghosts Monday Mystery Stream. Decided to record more segments of my less chat because I really could not get to everything. What in the world? There you go. Really couldn't get to everything. So here we go. We're going to continue on with more segments as I've got stuff on a list that I didn't get to. So let's get underway. As I stated last Thursday, it was just chatting and gaming on October the 13th. Did not have a guest, although I had some people come in and out during the course of the podcast. Jim Patzer, Brandon Travis, Allison Deerwell, and Nova Vale popped in and out during the podcast last Monday. Talked for 3 hours. And jeez. Callous last week for me not even being here. Or me being here, but not where I really wanted to go. And looking at this picture here. Look at this picture here. As you can see, there's a pinball piler. Destroyed. All these pinball machines. And I don't know who this figure in the middle is. Maybe a robot. Some mysterious figure in here. Under the sign that says Pinball Wizard. The whole piler is destroyed. And that is kind of to illustrate what happened with me to where I could not attend the 2025 Pinball Expo, the 41st year of the Pinball Expo. And that was due to a cat attack. Last Friday, I took Cody into the vet to be examined by a vet and to be chipped. And brought him home, and that's that. I had to run and do more errands afterward. But, jeez, much of my day seemed to have been centered around taking the cat to the vet. It's just getting him out there and trying to get him to take medication to calm him down while he was out there. But he didn't want to take the medication. So I couldn't. So I had kind of been touch and go with him throughout the visit. But got him home, and now he's running around. Little this idiot. I let him in the bedroom for a little bit, and then he decided to take a bite out of my face. Because he was irritated about something I did, took a bite. Yeah. Scratched the side of my head, and I was like, "You're out of here, doofus." So the Pinball Expo happened over the weekend, and several new tables were unveiled. So I got to wait and play these new tables. When Troy Smith opens the Tilt Amusements, his pinball place over in Decatur, Long Creek, Illinois. That's where it is. I don't know when that's going to happen. I am wanting to know of another pinball convention in the Midwest that's upcoming to make up for what I missed, which I would have liked to have gone, but bah humbug. So much for that. Anyway, I'm still looking for gamers. If you work in gaming, you're a tournament competitor, you create content, have some notoriety, maybe you're a gaming fanatic. Well, I'll talk to you. So let's talk. And send me a message on Facebook/Crimeycade. So, what else is going on? Good night. I couldn't be at the Pinball Expo. I certainly was able to go here. 6:30 in the morning, got up and hit the road a little after 7 o'clock. Drove down to St. Louis, took some trading cards, took a banner, set it up, took my Pinball Expo Championship belt to the Tatertot Con. There's 60 vendors. There's some gaming vendors there, artists, comic books, obviously wrestling, that which went on all day. Pro Wrestling Epic was who I was filming for most of the day. The con was open for 6 hours at the Bud Dome, which is a sports complex. It's got volleyball, basketball, softball. Certainly, the indoor fields were used for softball because it was raining outside all day and at times very heavily. But here's the question. How did Tatertot Con get its name? One of the organizers, his name was Tate, and he got the nickname Tater. So the organizers, the Tates, decided, we're going to name this differently than everybody else. We're going to give it a unique name that no one else is going to come up with. So they called it the Tatertot Con after the one of the organizers of this con. Tate. Tater. Tater tot. And yes, they did serve tater tots at a food vendor outside. You had to go out and get it, of course, bring it in. So I was there for 6 hours. Good. That was a long day. They did about an hour and a half of matches, then take a break for a while to do photos in the ring with wrestlers, then do another hour and a half, more photos, another hour and a half, and then it was about close to closing time. Things were kind of breaking up at about a little after 3. And that's that. Did I buy anything there? Well, I did actually buy something. I was making a romp around the con as people were tearing down, looking for stuff and just seeing what they had. And I spotted this cart, High Seas Havoc, which was a arcade game in T20. This is for the Genesis. I played a little bit of this. There is some gameplay differences. The arcade game has a separate kick button, but this one, there's only one button. You jump, and then if you are in the air, you can do a kick while in the air, but you can't do a kick on the ground. Unfortunate, but it's going to take a bit to learn the gameplay differences, but I'm going to play through that. I don't think it's going to help me try to get the high score on the actual arcade game, but we'll see. Maybe I'll stream it in the future. So, Tatertot Con is in the books. I have no updates on this. After my impassioned speech to the organizer, Josh Pitts, and Brandon Travis went and visited him at the arcade, but he didn't want to talk about it at all. And then it discovered Sunday that the Discord server has been taken down officially. So the Discord server for Bloody Wars Tournament has been taken down. The Facebook group is still there for the time being. I don't know for how much longer. I don't know. We'll have to see, but good grief. There's chatter about doing a Galloping Ghost Discord, and I hope there is one. The problem's been that trying to get any sort of chatter group, real-time chatter group for Galloping Ghost has been pretty difficult. It's like somebody's got to be monitoring it pretty much at all times, and that's a bit of an annoyance. Doc Mac can't do it. He's too daggone busy. He's got to deal with all this other stuff going on. He doesn't have time to moderate a Discord server. So nothing new in Bloody Wars, but I bet I can get an answer out of Josh Pitts the day I show up, seek him out, and come face to face and do a little grilling. Because I'm not going to let him off the hook that easily. I'm going to find out what's in his head and figure out what the heck is bothering him. What caused him to make this sudden decision now? Because this is ridiculous. It's like if he's mentally down because of all this, what he tried to build and it not succeed or take off, or just plain Wayne. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. We'll see what. I mean, I'm gonna find out what the heck's going on. Because I'm not gonna let him cop out of anything. You know, if I have to challenge him to another few rounds of NFL Blitz 99, or maybe do another best of 7 challenge. I do want to note, David Fioga has accepted a best of 7 challenge from me. Sarah, I'm going to Galloping Ghost, and I'm planning to go there this weekend. Certainly after last weekend's debacle, where I couldn't go. And good gosh, I don't know. It's been sorely. I want to go back. I've got so much ground to regain. I certainly gonna have to play Do Run Run again and try to get that score back. That's just one. But I have a whole slew of games where I lost the score, but I haven't been able to practice. Just kind of play these games, get back to where I was before to even try to retake the scores. And then we have the new challenge cards. Do I have the card in here? Well, this is last year's. I know I had this card on my table. Oh, here it is. All right, full screen myself for a second. New card. I got challenges on this still. I got to play RoboCop, POW, Knights of the Round, and Super Don Quixote and try to take scores on these. That's written down on the card. I have level 2 from last year. Still to do. The problem has been having the time to practice. So I can even try to take these scores back. I don't know. And it's been so difficult to find time to play any games for a console. Because now I got this again. I got this cart. I've gotten other carts that I bought. I also got Atomic Robo Kid. Atomic Robo Kid, which is another arcade game. I have a card for that. Haven't played it due to time constraints. You know, there's been all the. It's not even funny, you know. I've been running around nonstop. It's just been going here, there, everywhere. It's like I think I'd have time to do stuff, and it's like I'm trying to get away. It's like 2 years ago. I mean, I was trying to get away from the wrestling stuff so I could game more, and so far it hasn't turned out that way at all. It hasn't. So, I'm going to share a photo here. I'm got to pull it up. I'm going to send it to myself here. I'm going to put it, just show full screen. What? Jeez. It's been so insanity. It's been absolute insanity. Get this up here. All right. Let me see. I'm going to show you this photo. Get back to my StreamYard. There we go. Share screen. Stop that one. Present. Share screen. Window. That one. So, for all the doggone, I've been running all over the place. I thought I was going to get away from the wrestling stuff altogether, and it's not turned out that way. In fact, this is where I went. So I had 2 4-day weekends in a row. Neither one felt anything of the sort. I made that impassioned speech to Josh Pitts about attendance. I'm not having to worry about attendance at a wrestling promotion. Considering that at a Comic-Con, I was like filming for all day. And then after the Comic-Con was over, did I go home? No. Did I go to an arcade in the St. Louis area? No, I didn't. I went to another wrestling show, and I went to another wrestling show because I wanted to talk to somebody that I know that got injured recently. Got in a motorcycle accident. I know the details of the accident, that he was trying to avoid. He was following his wife in a vehicle or on his bike. He's following his wife because he was putting the bike up for sale, and child darted out on the road after a ball. Ball's on one side of the vehicle, the child was on the other side. Made the decision to basically slide, and couldn't stop, so he had to slide under the vehicle to avoid hitting the ball and wiping out, or hitting the child. And certainly, he's going to hit his wife's vehicle, but he wanted to minimize the damage to the occupants of the car. So he slid, broke his hip. He was not wearing motorcycle gear at the time because he was going to sell the bike, because it was a secondary bike. He injured himself. He's going to be out for at least 2 months. And I've warned him, don't try to make a comeback. Don't rush on making a comeback. Don't try to get back in the ring too soon. Because he's tried to go back in the ring way too soon after an injury, and it was not good. So, take your time. Wrestling will be there when you're ready. Anyway, look at this picture here. I rode all the way past Louisville, Kentucky to this place. Just riding with crew to pick up they're picking up stuff they bought here instead of have it shipped. And now I know. So if you ever wondered, if I ever wondered what a wrestling ring factory looks like, well, now I know. 6 hours to go down here, 6 hours to come home. I wasn't driving, I was riding. It was a long day. I don't know if I ever want to do that again. Because that was the first day of a 4-day weekend, and then mess with the wrestling show the day after coming home. Try to recover on Sunday and Monday. Well, spent most of Sunday sleeping because it was a late nighter due to hardships and stuff. The only real day of that weekend I had was Columbus Day. Then the weekend after, obviously, filmed a lot of wrestling. Now, at least I was at a Comic-Con. But Thursday, I had to do stuff and the podcast. And Friday, the day was dominated by taking the cat to the vet. And also discovered my driver's license was expired and needed renewed, so I had to go hunt for a driver's TMV, which apparently they all got moved around in my city. Woe is me! And Sunday, I was trying to, stuff around the house, try to clean up, reorg, what I could, do whatever else. Although, gosh, Saturday night was not pleasant sleeping either. Woke up with severe cramping. And I was already needing a lot of sleep, and it's like sleep was not of quality. Bloody awful. So, yeah, this was quite the scene. Running all the way to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and checking out a wrestling ring factory. What fun. Anyway. Crazy. I don't know. It seems like I'm doing way more than I should again when I was trying to cut back on it. I'm not producing a 30-minute wrestling TV show. I'm doing this podcast. And I'm doing this extra bit tonight. Post Galvin Ghost Monday Mystery. Seems like my me time is just hard to get. Even with two 4-day weekends. Neither one felt anything but. Crazy. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. Well, I got more stuff to talk about. One of the things I did not get to, and this is not necessarily gaming related, but it's certainly you got to spend money. This can be of interest to you. So it has started. Burger King, at least, is claiming we can't get pennies anymore, which is an absolute crock. There is, if any company out there claims we can't get pennies, that there's a penny shortage, they are absolutely lying to you. There is no penny shortage whatsoever. There was a claim that was like 1.1 billion pennies in circulation throughout the country. I think it's way more than that. I think there's 1 trillion pennies in circulation. Just a lot of them are in coin jars or tubs or whatever, piggy banks. Because kids collect pennies and they throw them in a piggy bank. Then after so long, they break the piggy bank and take the pennies to the bank and have them converted into dollars. Yes, I like many other kids did that very same thing. My stepfather actually has a 5-gallon water jug, full of coins. Now, the majority of them are pennies. And I have several rolls of pennies in a bucket, which I could pull out and take anywhere and kind of start spending them off because I keep getting pennies all the time. But any company out there, like Binks, who supplies businesses with cash, coins, and dollars, they made a business decision not to mess with pennies anymore. They won't deal in pennies. So that is a business decision by this one company. It has nothing to do with whether there's a shortage of pennies. Any business that claims there's a penny shortage, it's fake, just like the coin shortages during COVID. There's plenty of change to go around. It's somebody was not doing their job, or they're, I guess, a supply chain disruption. But coins are plentiful. They're all over the place. There's no penny shortage. There's no coin shortage. There's some business decision that was made not to mess with them anymore. Anybody who claims there's a penny shortage is absolutely lying out their ass. They are lying out their ass because they won't admit the real reason is they don't want to deal with them anymore. Period. It's going to be decades before the pennies disappear entirely. I mean, Canada did away with the penny years ago, like maybe more than a decade ago, 2 decades ago. Every once in a while, a Canadian penny turns up in change. So, obviously, digital money is not going to be rounded up or down to the nearest nickel. So, There's plenty of pennies around, and don't stop spending them just because some business decides, oh, we don't want to deal with them anymore. There's no shortage. And if anybody tries to claim a shortage, call them out repeatedly, call them liars if you have to. There's no penny shortage. Keep spending them. All right. I gotta get used to this transition because, Anyway, what else did I have on my plate? Because, there's several things that. Oh, let's go with this story. Let me pull this up here because I gotta stop sharing. I'm gonna go back. I need to get off this. There we go. So, Wrestlefest. There's been a lot of fuss over that. One Up arcade machine. They announced this game's release, and people are not happy with what is or is not in the game. Many have feared that a bunch of characters were going to be taken out because of licensing issues. And to show this off, good grief. Boy, I gotta move this. This has got to move to another screen here. Because I'm jumping back and forth, going full screen with this, even though this is a pre-recorded segment. Yeah. Wrestlefest, it's not good. And this is a screenshot from somebody's YouTube channel. Michael B. So here's the cabinet. And first thing you notice is they got the F out. Now this has two of the WWF World Wrestling Federation. Screw you, World Wildlife Fund. You stupid. Whining over your daggum initials. So there's WWF Superstars and WWF Wrestlefest. From WWF Superstars, the Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth and Andre the Giant were removed from the game. They were completely removed from the game. So you only have the choice between 5 wrestlers to play WWF Superstars. So you can't play as the Mega Powers, and you can't play against the Mega Bucks. Ted DiBiase is still in the game, but Andre the Giant is not by his side in the cutscenes, and he gets a random partner when it's boss level time. And if you win the tag titles, well, Miss Elizabeth is not there to hand them to you. Yeah. So they butchered Superstars. It looks stupid. Now move over to Wrestlefest. You probably heard. Sergeant Slaughter, not in the game. Legion of Doom, not in the game. They took the cutscenes out. The whole game is basically centered around you're working up the tag team ladder, working up the ranks to face off against Legion of Doom for the WWF tag team titles. Well, cutscenes are gone. Legion of Doom is gone. They didn't replace them with anybody. So there's only 9 wrestlers in the game. You only have 9 wrestlers to choose from, and There you go. Obviously, they took the logo out, and so you got a stripped down game because they supposedly couldn't get the licenses to put in the game. So they're not running the original arcade ROMs at all. They're using modified ROMs. This is why, I want the original arcade ROMs for the home experience. Which is why those multicades 9 times out of 10 are better off. You're better off getting one of those instead of these arcade one-up devices. I know this is put out by Basic Fun, but work with me here. I want the arcade original experience. If Basic Fun cannot provide it, they should not have ever released this thing. Because I bet you one of two things will happen. It's going to get returned to the store. Or if you're a techie, they're going to modify the thing like crazy. Take the PCB out and put something else in its place. And emulate the original arcade ROMs on this cabinet. Because what they got in there now ain't going to cut it. Period. And apparently there's problems that the control panel will rub off. Doesn't have any sort of protection. I know those early arcade one-ups had this problem. Like a little piece of plexi needs to cover it over. And it's buggy. So here's my advice to you is, if you want a Wrestlefest, I'd run it on MAME, but I would not get one of these. I'd just say I'd pass on it completely. Recommendation to avoid. All right. Well, there's a lot more to come. I've got several segments, but I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to resume the Crimeycade with other topics when we come back. And going to a break right now. Welcome back to the Crimeycade. And now I am out of the pre-recorded stuff and into the main, well, into the live and in living color portion, so to speak. Well, I got a lot more to go. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned that YouTube is, I guess, demanding verification. Even though I have 18 years of content, they want me to re-verify that I am who I am so they can enforce whatever the heck, I guess, do their little nonsense. So I went through the stupid little selfie thing that they wanted so badly, even though they can see my face here on this stream. So I did that little video to send to them, is besides this sign, to send them a message that wanting all this verification was not even necessary. This is my little protest. So now, supposedly, I can embed links in my YouTube descriptions. Maybe live stream on YouTube if I ever dare do that. Here's May. Speaking of live streaming, and you probably heard about this over the weekend, as I'm gonna get this up here. I have several tabs open, but I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. This is not even, I don't know why it's showing that video on this page. Here we go. Now let's see what this is. Nope. I'm just gonna hide this. All right. Stop it. You probably heard about this, that TwitchCon was over the weekend. And unfortunately, one of the streamers got assaulted. And I'm going to hide this because I don't want this up here. There we go. Well, this is what I wanted. Anyway, Twitch faces backlash after popular streamer Emaru allegedly assaulted by a fan on video at TwitchCon meet and greet. Yeah, I don't even know who she is, but I'm not familiar with the other Twitch streamers. Emaru, also known as Emily Beth Shahunk, I think. She is apparently a cosplayer and does cosplay live streams on Twitch. Well, somebody over at TwitchCon San Diego, some, I guess, disgusting individual who also streams on the platform. You know, I need to find out who that is. But let me show this video. I mean, it's disgusting. This guy just walks up, grabs her, and then tries to plant a kiss, and her personal security has to run up and shove him away. It's ridiculous. Now, there's been several, and here's another video. This is a close-up shot. What did he have? Did he have something? Did this guy have something in his hand? My gosh. Yeah. Looks like he had something in his hand. What was he up to? Anyway, let's go back to this. And she has 2 million followers on Twitch. I don't follow her. But this guy attacked her, and Twitch. Oh my goodness. I hate it when my second screen keeps blanking out for no particular reason, especially when I stream certain channels on Twitch. The second screen decides to black out, and I have to go in and try and turn it back on, reactivate it. It's annoying. TwitchCon security staff did not respond to the incident. In fact, they were trying to laugh it off. And Emily Beth Emaru, is basically slammed the response by one Dan Clancy, who is the Twitch CEO. Didn't seem all that concerned. Yeah, they put out a statement saying they have zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. The problem is there's been other Twitch streamers who publicly announced they were not going to go to this for security security concerns, because there's apparently been incidents at TwitchCon in the past, and they've done nothing about it. It's ridiculous. And no, I wouldn't even go to TwitchCon. It's like, why would I step into California? I know my sister sister's moving back. She loves it. But then again, politically, she's kind of in tune with those folks over there. Even though party registration seems to be going the other direction of late. But they did not arrest him until her manager, screamed bloody murder at the officials running this thing, says, you better do something. You better arrest this. Get this guy arrested. Get this guy removed from this convention permanently. Do it now or else. And charges have been pressed. She is pressing charges against this guy. Twitch apparently was only going to suspend him from the platform for a month. Kind of pretty much a slap on the wrist. And, here's some of the others. Oh, gosh. See, several female streamers announced that they were having they were afraid to attend this thing. And although one of the individuals who canceled their appearance actually needs to be banned from Twitch now, that would be Hassan Piker, who besides making threats to kill people on his live stream, yes, threatened to murder people or encouraging others to take out his, political enemies on Twitch and not getting any punishment whatsoever for it. He finally gets major backlash because he apparently used the shock collar on his dog. So yeah, there's several articles on this. Oh, here's her. Here's Miss Chinook. How's it pronounced? Hunk? Maybe it's Hunk. It's pronounced Hunk. Emily Hunk. And yeah, she ain't gonna go back. Why would she? It's too dangerous. Yeah, who is this guy? They haven't identified this guy. But yeah, she's screaming her head off. And Twitch lied about it. And, by the way, this idiot's here. The vicious attack cat tried to bite my hand off. Got my trip to Pinball Expo canceled because he had to go to the vet to be examined, get microchipped. Yeah, this little demon. Yeah, you're rotten. You know that? You're rotten. Sit. Anyway. Yeah, there's been some streamers that have been murdered. Oh, looky here. Yeah, the Charlie Kirk assassination affects everybody on both sides of the aisle. Because if you're a famous streamer of some sort, you could be in grave danger. Why am I on Kotaku? Sheesh. That site has no credibility. Anyway, Yoon Jaha was murdered by a stalker. Lulu. Let's see. Yeah. Lulu whoever she is, 10 to 12 Twitch cons that's gonna be her last one. Yeah, so there is concerns that, well, it's very likely that Twitch is going to be sued. And by the way, Twitch is owned by Amazon. And that Amazon had major outage this morning. Bunch of cloud services went completely down. I'm still trying to find the identity of this creep that attacked her. He has not been identified publicly, it looks like. Here's another shot of her. Whoops. Here's her cosplaying as I guess a Playboy bunny. And look at the kitty in the background. Anyway. Okay, this is who she is. Dresses up as popular video game characters while hosting video game live streams, and has been going at it for 10 years playing League of Legends. Oh, controversial just chatting videos. Yeah. Anything's controversial these days. But yeah, there were several key figures that said they ain't going back, and TwitchCon is not a safe place to go. There's other streaming conventions that are better options, and Dan Clancy is already in the hot seat for censoring content because he didn't, I guess, agree with the political views or whatever, or allowing violent people making violent threats against others go unpunished on that platform. I believe Dan Clancy was supposed to testify in front of Congress in the last couple weeks, but I don't know if that's happened yet. He was supposed to. I wonder what happened. Let me look that up real quick. Clancy, I wonder if he's been forced, if he has to testify in Congress when he's testifying in front of Congress, and it doesn't look like he has. And he gave some interview to another, gosh, a deranged lunatic reporter who really shouldn't be a journalist, trying to make excuses for what happened. I'm not even going to share it. It's stupid. But, oh, looky here. And there's more controversy. Dan Clancy's already in hot water. Yes, another Twitch streamer who is a military veteran asked if a certain streamer needs to be held accountable over his 9/11 remarks. Hassan Abi. I wonder if he's related to that Hassan Piker goofball, or if that is who Hassan Piker streams on, what his Twitch handle is. Oh yeah, that is him. That is him. Yeah. He's made a number of disgusting comments, and he really should be banned from the platform. Apparently also said that 9/11 United States deserved 9/11. That's pretty disgusting. Yeah, it's apparently a hot topic in the New York mayor's race too, apparently. All right. Moving on, there's something else that caught my attention recently. Another thing that caught my attention, and it's this gentleman, American author James Lindsay, who calls himself anti-communist, proud anti-communist, perennial outsider, canceled by both sides, pro-America, anti-communist, anti-fascist, biased AF, liberty first. So what did his guy do? Gosh, I can't make this any bigger. I wonder if I can do it. Hold on. I'm going to make this bigger. There we go. That's better. He posted this on Twitter. He said, I'm 46 years old. I stopped playing video games when I was 25. Then I finished a PhD. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Yes, he says video games are childish things. This guy responded, did he ever play video games? Although this guy's some idiot. We don't have a king. He's just this guy right here. Yeah, he's from California, probably. Now, this nut, I don't give this guy much credibility either. But yeah, I don't care for this moron. We don't have a king. There was all these rallies last weekend. We don't have a king. We have a president. But all the people protesting were bitter that their king lost power. And they have their own kings. They claim they don't want no kings. No, it's incorrect. They want their kings. Their kings. With a particular letter by the name or on the crown. So anybody who claims they don't want kings, they're lying. Anyway, this guy got called out for posting this comment, which I thought was kind of. I don't consider video games to be childish things. You know, those arcade machines cost some of them thousands of dollars, or hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. Obviously, Galloping Ghost is the largest arcade in the country, with over 1,050 games, maybe on its way to 1,100. They certainly have not decided to start the Vault series yet. I think they're just going to keep doubling up their games until I guess he gets tired of doubling up the games. Makes me wonder why they split up some of these tiles to begin with. Why do they split up Saxon and Super Zaxxon and then Roston and Nastar Warrior? They split those up. They're going to be combining them again in the future? But I don't know. But, you know, there's a lot of reaction to this. Yeah, not much difference between TV and video games. A lot of childishness on TV, although to his credit, he said he doesn't watch any TV. Humiliation fetish. Well, I'm not. I really didn't concern myself about being grown up, I don't think. Obviously, I'm in my 50s and I'm still playing video games. Or I'd like to be playing video games. As I stated earlier, I've been so daggum busy, I've been able to play any video games. Hardly. Not very much. Spend all my time having to do various errands. Yeah. Busy all day Thursday, which would have been my first day to the Pinball Expo. Busy all day Friday, which would have been second day of the Pinball Expo and driving back, and then all day Saturday, running around the St. Louis area. Well, at the Tatertot Con. I guess I got a little bit of convention activity. Yes, this is silly. Yeah, Mr. Lindsay didn't get the quote right, but this is what this guy's doing for fun. Playing with swords. This is him. He plays with swords. And look, he's playing with another sword. That's I think a claymore. There's nothing wrong with sword fighting and stuff. Put away childish things, stay blade. Yes! Yeah, he ain't no ninja. He is no ninja. And look at this! Okay. He's wearing a Legend of Zelda shirt in this shot. With this big broadsword here. Yeah, Vera Dark got in on this. I don't know who this guy is. Okay. Well, enough of this. He responded. Since everyone's all mad I don't play video games and consider them childish things, I'll relate the story of how I stopped. It wasn't really a choice, it was kind of neat. Okay, let's see if it was really a choice. Quotes Charlie. He said, references Charlie Kirk. He says, Charlie's main point that with her was that doing porn with this porn star, for whatever she gets out of it, whatever it means to her, it's not possibly the best use of her God-given talents in life. It's a striking moment. It's also not dissimilar how I ended up not being a gamer anymore after being casual one, basically from age 5 to 25, having completely mastered Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, FFX, wherever it's worth. He's playing World of Warcraft when he was 25. Oh, that's one of those paid for play games. Playing Human Mage unnamed Algebra, and it was like, he goes on to say that he maxed out the character, but then he had a lot of things going on in his life. He was doing a PhD. He was training in martial art. He took pretty seriously. He was trying to become more athletic, and something clicked within him that he was spending all this time playing World of Warcraft, and he just was not enjoying it anymore, and realized, he could do other stuff. Like me getting away from the wrestling business. But, he said he just stopped playing because the game wasn't fun for him anymore. It wasn't interesting. Of course, here's the thing. I jump from one game to another. Or maybe you gotta play in short bursts. I mean, you can take a break away from something, but I have not stopped playing video games. I get enjoyment out of them. The wrestling business, not so much, but because there's so many people involved in it, and I like kind of interacting with those folks, I'm still hanging around it to an extent. And I'll have something a little bit to say about the drama that caused me to leave the wrestling business for a while. In fact, that is going to be next. That might be the last segment of my pod, which I had to go through. I had to do dry runs of that segment because it is not an easy one to talk about for me, anyway. He says, play if you want. It doesn't matter. I waste time to this day like everyone does. I wind down with things too, like everyone does. Video games aren't a particularly terrible way to wind down, have fun, engage in a story, or whatever. But they're not, he says, they're not the best use of your talents for the vast majority of people. That's simply a fact. Well, that's an opinion. Also, he said earlier, it wasn't really a choice. No, he did make a choice. He chose to stop playing and never go back. So he made a choice. First thing in the Bible Charlie and I ever talked about was the parable of talents. Of course, talents is money. I guess it's considered money where in their whatever land this was referred to. They're both impressed by the way he characterizes the necessity of making use of our talents productively while we have the time. The guy who had 10 talents and 5 talents invested with them. The guy with the single talent decided to bury it in the ground, hide it, and then bring it back, doing nothing with it, which he got lambasted for it and lost, I guess, God, I don't know, sent to St. Helena Island. Or I don't know, maybe the island. Well, since it was in the Middle East, he probably got banished to the island of Crete or Cyprus. Certainly banished from the land. You can join or not, like it or not throw more of a fit or not, calm down or not, whatever. I just shared this on the Bird app. I play video games and you get butthurt about your opinion. Go figure. Oh well. Okay, apparently you did play some other games. Now I played Myst too. Though at some point I needed maybe the hint book to keep going. Nuclear option. What is that? Oh, it's a. Oh, I guess it's a war game. Yeah. All right. All right. Let me take this down for a second. All right. Well, let me throw this out here. So I've been having a bit of an issue with family. Looks like I got a message. Let me see what this is first. Okay, I have some tasks to do after this, after I finish this off. But I've been having issues with certain people. They've been bombarding me with unsolicited political stuff posted to my timeline. My stepbrother has been sending me stuff, TikTok videos, political ones. And I've been griping about it for quite some time. And so he sends me a message. Well, let me say, from the outset, I've been sent all this political stuff. And I'm saying, and pretty much most of it is demonstrably false, lacking context, or fails a fact check and can be refuted or debunked. But they keep sending me this nonsense that is not true or admits facts or is very misleading or flat out is a bald-faced lie. I've griped heavily about it. It's like, why do you keep sending me this garbage? Why do you keep posting this garbage that has no basis in truth and these very biased sources? And these same people say that the sources I use to debunk them, they reject them because they're not their approved sources, which is a load of crap. I don't give a crap what they don't like the source that refutes them. In fact, they truly believe their source, so their original source, anybody who contradicts it is lying to them, or they claim they're lying, or they're biased. They pull up this so-called media biased site, and claim, oh, you can't listen to them because they're too over to the right. Ignoring the fact that they are very hard left or very biased. But they give them credibility because the political alignment of those sites line up with the so-called fact checkers. A lot of those fact checkers are very liberal, very left-wing, and I don't trust them, much of the mainstream media. If you don't like that, if you don't like it, too bad. A lot of these journalistic outfits are bald-faced liars, and they're political activists posing as journalists. Anyway, my stepbrother, I named it. Have you ever noticed you are so defensive, the group of the Republicans that gets in the way of you being able to see straight? I'm critical about the Republicans and the Democrats, and I read large swath of news organizations. I know you don't, by the way. I know you don't watch other news organizations unless they're Republican leaning, but you're always chastising Democrats, but you never chastise the Republicans. Why is that? Why do you believe everything you see and read, hook, line, and sinker? You're in the middle of a con job and you believe Republicans could do no wrong. You are wrong. Reading that just irritates. That irritates the heck out of me. For him to say that, and for him to say this, overwhelming majority of the stuff he sends me is left wing sources. Left-wing sources. But I'm the damn problem because I won't believe their crap, and I call it out every time he sends it. Almost every time he sends it. I've had somebody else. Bucky Collins has been bombarding my daggum timeline with this very left-wing crap that's easily refuted, and he keeps doing it. And it's just irritated me to a point. My dad, and I'm calling it out repeatedly. This is wrong. This is bogus. It's not true. It's misleading. They are lying, etc., etc. I'm very frustrated because they keep posting this garbage that's been debunked over and over again. No basis of truth. But I'm the problem. You know why I'm the problem? Because I don't vote blue no matter who. That's why I'm the problem. When I post something that goes against their narratives, yeah, my sources are fake, bias. They're not credible, blah, 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 blah. But they post all this crap that has no credibility. But they see it credible because they agree with it. But I'm the problem for calling it out, for not going along with this nonsense that can be, that I can debunk. But I only have so many hours in the day. But they keep blowing my phone with this garbage. But I'm the damn problem because I won't see it their way. I won't see it their way. And why should I see it their way when it's gaslighting and projecting? Trying to make it seem like I'm the crazy one. Everything they say, everything they're telling me is absolute gospel, 100% factual. No, the hell it ain't. Has no basis in reality. It's fake, false, phony. Welcome, LS414H. I believe you're the first time you've been on this pod or attended. Thank you for coming in. Anyway, I'm so over it. It's gotten so bad. I just throwing out cuss words because some of these people, they only seem to get the message when I throw out a 4-letter word. That gets their attention, I guess. Oh, it's Isaiah. Welcome in. Welcome in. Um, yes, I. So Thursday, I will announce my next podcast. He will. He will be coming on my podcast on October the 30th. So stay tuned for that. I did mention this Thursday. Todd Tucky's going to be in here. So stay tuned for that. I got to throw this up there. I got to throw the last. I've got to move on to the last segment. It's a sore subject for me because, you know, 2.5 years after the fact, the whole world has shifted. But 2.5 years ago, everything was going the completely opposite direction. Let me throw this up here. I've had to dry run this. Like I said, I've dry run this a few times. And I'm not going to be satisfied with whatever version comes out of my mouth right here. But 2.5 years ago, I got called out for criticizing men entering women's spaces, and there's been all this talk about Title IX. The Olympics have been under scrutiny. High school sports has been under scrutiny. College sports has been under scrutiny. Identity politics, wokeism, it's been individuals who say they're women now, but they weren't previously. Entering women's sports to take their, I guess, try to, I guess, lie or cheat or steal or grift titles that they couldn't win or they were under the original biology. I was called out for doing an editorial criticizing these folks, trying to kind of cheat women out of things, and the women can't stand up. I mean, there was claims about an Olympic boxer not being really a female, and the female opponent got pretty much knocked out fast and got injured. There's been other female athletes that have been injured by people who claim to be women, been seriously injured, suffered concussions. And this was in context of men winning women's titles. And there's been a few people that have been I've been at odds with because of their attitude. And I did not believe that they were I believe they were engaging in a grift. That they were looking for the express lane to get to where they wanted to go without paying their dues or pay less dues than others or get special treatment than they otherwise would. They wouldn't have gotten special treatment. People called it out. People went after me. They organized a Twitter lynch mob. And the so called exterior motive was they were offended. How dare I say something like this? How dare I call out what they were doing? And then, well, that ended up, the time that I did this, it ended up being the peak of the movement. The woke identity politics. ended up being the peak of the movement at that time. Why was it the peak? Because after that, so many people came out of the woodwork and started calling it out also. And by the way, you remember Sweet Baby Incorporated. They've been trying to eject identity politics into video gaming and their woke ideologies and claim, well, this is the way the world is now. We need to design games for the modern audience. So we need to put all these things in the game, all these all this representation, the DEI. We need to put all this DEI in the game because this is the way the world is now. This is the way the world is. We got to put that in there because it's our duty to do that. And then, yes, we had this cringy product endorsement by this social media influencer, Dylan Mulvaney, partnered with Bud Light. And then that ended up being the big turning point. Bud Light was made an example of. The boycott started, organized boycotts, and Bud Light ate $20 billion loss, $20 to $30 billion in losses. Fewer people bought Bud Light. Far fewer people. They lost their title of the King of Beers. The King of Beers ended up going to, for a while, Modelo. Although Modelo no longer owns the King of Beers title, another beer brand ended up taking the King of Beers title. I believe it was a form of I'm going to look that up real quick. Yeah, Budweiser was the King of Beers, but they're not the King of Beers. Who is the best-selling beer in America? I could have sworn I saw it. I think it's Michelob Ultra is now the number one best-selling beer, to having taken the title from Modelo. Now, Michelob Ultra is a Anheuser-Busch beer. Modelo wasn't one in the United States. It was owned overseas by Anheuser-Busch, but a different distributor handled Modelo. So, Modelo is special. Modelo E Special was dethroned a few weeks ago by Michelob Ultra. Yeah. Oh, I'll go ahead and present. I'm going to go ahead and show this, put this up here just for the heck of it. Well, this wasn't King Beers, but you know. Anyway, I guess Bud Light is maybe the third, number 3 now. Who knows? And then other businesses kind of latched on to the identity politics movement and posted advertising to, I guess, pander to the identity politics crowd, and they got punished royally. And what they got their boycotts hit with boycotts. In fact, Jaguar tried to do this too earlier this year. They paid the price and they fired their CEO over that recently too. And why were these boycotts so successful? Because, well, the group you're pandering to isn't that large compared to the normies. If you alienate the normies, you've got to make that up with somebody. But even if you have the identity politics crowd make up the entire sales base, the problem is what they care about is validation, likes, and retweets. That's all they care about. They don't care about your product. They don't care about your company. They want people to validate their choices in life or the statements they made or their influence. Validation, likes, and retweets to these folks is more valuable than gold, more valuable than diamonds. Everything in their life centers around that. Besides the boycotts being so successful, there's been a lot of lawsuits, and the identity politics, the people who pandered to identity politics, ended up having to pay out major damages to people they fired because they didn't respect, I guess, pronouns. 6-digit payouts by school districts. And if you're mad about that, you should get out your wallet and start sending them money. And yes, the Sweet Baby Ink games, they put in these stereotypical characters in games like Concord. Concord bombed. They made this hero shooter. They made it out to be the next Star Wars. Heavily pandered to identity politics because the creators of the game wanted to put people in there that looked like them, I guess, claiming this is what the modern audience is now. Well, the modern audience is very left wing into left wing social causes. No more binary choices. It's whatever we say we are. The problem is the people wanting to play the games didn't exactly care for the message. They wanted to get away from that. They wanted to get away from the political stuff. They didn't want to have a DEI diversity. What is it? Diversity, equity, inclusion message shoved in their face because they're at their workplace and they're having to do all this DEI training and they're having to walk on eggshells. It's like they're having to deal with all this. So they come home, they want to play a video game. They want to get away from all that stuff for a while. That they're having to, I guess, shove down, having all this stuff shoved down their throat all the time. And they don't want it. They don't want to listen to that. They don't want a video game preaching to them. That's how they're supposed to live their lives and think. So you have Concord flopping hard, going up, closing down after only 2 weeks online. They had another game called Dustborn. What are some of the other games? Some of the other games. There's been, what is it? Ghosts of Yoti? That game is doing very poorly of late. People aren't liking that game very much. Some of the other titles they're putting. Suicide Squad flopped hard. Spending all this money. And here's another one. What? There was another there's a Tales game that not related to Tales of Fantasia, not the Tales series that put out by Namco. Tales of Kinzera. Yeah, that apparently flopped. People didn't care for that one either. There's been rumors of a Concord 2.0 that's supposed to come out, which is going to apparently double down on all that stuff. Concord 2.0, Project Ethos, more modern audience slop. Here's what. Well, it shouldn't be called modern audience. What it should be called is preferred audience. The creators of the game have the preferred audience. They have a preferred construct of what the modern audience should be, or what they think it should be. But it's not what it truly is. So there's apparently a game called development called Project Ethos. Game is getting wrecked, and apparently it's going to double down on identity politics heavily, which I guess they want to lose their shirt. I guess, these developers haven't lost enough money. They have not lost enough money, I guess. Until the major name studios needs to stop giving these developers money, because they're not. The gamers have already spoken. They don't want it. And they think they're going to do another game and put the same stuff in there and people will buy it. No. That's why there's groups called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected on Steam. They won't buy these games. Period. I guess I'll throw this up here. If you're a fan of Vera Dark, go ahead and watch this video sometime, but they're gonna, I guess, try another modern audience slop game, which is preferred audience. They never learned. After losing so much money, these AAA studios losing so much money, and then we're in the midst of another gaming crash. They still want to put this type of material out that isn't really fun and very preachy and just basically a glorified campaign commercial. They don't want it. Period. And really, looks like we got, yeah. By the way, I made a mistake earlier. I commented that TwitchCon was happening in Portland online. I didn't say it in this stream, but apparently it was in San Diego. So I got that wrong. I could have sworn I read it was in Portland. Now there's the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, which Mega Metro Man Paul Tessie was going to. Which I told him I would never step foot in Portland, Oregon, because the city is too dangerous. And apparently now a judge has approved Trump administration sending National Guard into Portland because there's been so much violence in that city by these Antifada thugs have pretty much taken over the city, and the mayor and the governor just pretty much look the other way and do not care. In fact, they probably are members of that group in secret. But anyway, it's still happening on the left coast, and that's bad enough as it is. Yeah. Twitch is just incompetent. Anyway. So 2025 comes around after the peak of the drama in the middle part of 2023. May of 2023, Leone Mephisto reaches out to me to try to lift me off my feet and get me back into and comfortable around the wrestling stuff again. So I went off to Epic for a while. The hometown promotion, I had to not be there for almost a year. Well, a little more than a year. I finally popped in. I finally made an appearance at a show in May of 2024 after going into rehab over all that drama and having to find out if there was something defective with me, which happened to be autism level 1, fully functional or high function. Yeah, Josh Pitts, I mentioned earlier, said he found out he was autistic at 5 years old. At least he learned about it at 5 years old. I didn't learn until I was like 53 years old and going through a traumatic experience and not being the same. And I'm still not the same. I'm still not the same person I was back in 2022, coming off a year as Gamer of the Year. It's coming off being Gamer of the Year. And then everything goes to Hades. So, what happened in 2025 last week? And I alluded to this last Thursday. A new study got put out by the University of Buckingham. And it illustrated how fast, how far the identity politics movement has fallen in the last 2 years. It's like everything peaked in February 2023. Everything peaked. Yes, there is the decline of people who identify as trans or queer among young Americans. And let me give a disclaimer here. There is a fine difference between those with elective dysphoria and medical dysphoria. People with medical dysphoria have a health condition that caused it. Whether it's defective chromosomes, genes, maybe an injury happened, maybe a bacterial infection happened, or a viral infection happened that did something to them. And I know a few people like who have true medical dysphoria. And some of those folks, yes, they're struggling to cope with it. So I'm not talking about those folks. I'm talking about those who claimed identity politics in order to grift. But this summary here, it peaked in 2023, and now it's in decline. And the unusual thing about this, the conclusion is, it doesn't appear to be connected to lower social media use, religious revival, a shift to political right, or lower support for woke ideology. They give credit to improved mental health. And there's multiple studies done. But look at this chart down here. The share of students not identified as male or female, here's where it peaked. And look at that steep drop. All these lines going down. I mean, these two here are holding steady, but it's getting back to kind of the rate it used to be, as around 3%. Well, 3%. And I look at this, and it's like, and going past all these boycotts, all these lawsuits, all the legislation, all the attention, it's what's changed. 2025, the people who are pushing this ideology don't hold positions of power, don't hold positions of power in government. They did in 2023, they did in 2024. and and they don't know how to respond to this. They're angry about it. They're mad that they've lost so much influence over a small period of in a short period of time. Can I make this bigger so everybody can see this? The majority of this drop are people who, and yes, engage in elective dysphoria, and the gig is up. Who are using identity politics to grift? Yeah, look, it's dropping. And then I have to ask myself, by the way, gay and lesbians held steady. It's just people who claim to be other than a man or woman. So I have to ask, I got crapped all over for calling for individuals who are using this to grift. I mean, there's this women's revolution in wrestling. And then suddenly it comes to a halt because another group claimed to be more oppressed than they were. And so they needed to get all the attention. So I have to ask, what the heck was the point of all this then? If I was so dead wrong or so bad for calling this out, women being cheated out of titles and championships and scholarships and many different things, what was the point of all this? What was the point? If this was all, if this was this all just a passing fad, a fashion statement? All this was a fashion statement? Was this a fad? I thought they sold this as this is the way the world is now. And then it just the last 2 years collapsed. I mean, I'm probably gonna be seeing people renounce what their position that they took a couple of years ago. What was the point of all this? Why was I punished so severely for for pointing this out, calling this out? What was the point? There was a lot of people running around that they had their exterior motive, but you have to look at what their ulterior motive was. And so many people with an ulterior motive were looking to gain something with their ulterior motive, exploit it for their own personal benefit. Absolutely. People with medical dysphoria need to be cared for. They need our help. They need support, friendships. But there is a whole slew of people who are exploiting the situation. And there's also a slew of other people who were claiming society was out to, I guess, genocide them, which was just ridiculous. A lot of projection. And then hoping that somebody would act on that. And unfortunately, we've had some incidents where people did act on that. Mass shootings at schools, like in Nashville. There's another one earlier this year. Trying to remember where it was. I think it was in Texas. I think it was one of the places. Certainly, the person who killed Charlie Kirk was in a relationship with one who was identifying as something other than a man or woman. Tyler Robinson. The person who wanted to kill the Supreme Court judge suddenly claimed they were trans in order to get a lighter prison sentence. from a judge. And apparently it worked. Instead of getting 30 years in prison, he only got 8. So, I recommend going to heterodoccenter.com to read this 26-page study put out by the University of Buckingham professor, written by Professor Eric Kaufman, who is a professor of politics at the University of Buckingham, director of the Center of Heterodox Social Science, and the author of Taboo: Why Making Race Sacred Led to a Cultural Revolution. It is kind of an interesting study to read through and kind of eye-opening as to how far things have come in the last couple of years. All right, that I believe is going to do it for the Crimeycade podcast, this additional segment. If anybody's disagrees with anything I said, you can, I'll put you on the air and you can debate me or something. So I got through this little discussion, and I'm kind of glad, and I'm kind of finishing it up. I kind of feel a little more satisfied. I got out what I needed to say in the right way, because it has been a struggle for me the last couple of years. And yes, it led to me starting this podcast to get away from the wrestling stuff to an extent. Although now I seem to be more embedded in it than ever. And I didn't want to. I wanted to phase out of it. And now it seems like I've been pulled back in. And I'm tired. I'm getting overworked again. It's like I had 2 4-day weekends in a row, and neither one felt like such. Anyway, this Thursday, Todd Tuckey will be on the Crimeycade podcast. He's the owner of TNT Amusements. We'll be starting earlier at 7 o'clock Central Time, as he's on Eastern Time. So 8 p.m. Central Time, or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Gosh, I don't have the date in there. Good grief, I thought I had the date in there. I think I had the wrong graphic in there. Oh well. I have the correct graphic. It's this Thursday. October 23rd. No less chatting segments. When he gets in, we're going to start the thing up and talk gaming with Todd Tuckey. Get away from all this other stuff. And I do want to thank you. Yes, thank you. Nice. Thank you, Isaiah. I'll be seeing you in a couple weeks, I hear, on this pod too. But Todd Tuckey will be on, major guest. I'm glad to have him. I hope you can all tune in, and we'll have a fun old time. And that'll do it for this edition of the Crimeycade podcast, episode 71.5. Anyway, I'm going to rate a channel. Let's see who's streaming right now. I'm going to rate somebody. Who am I going to rate this time? Oh, I know. Wow. Who do I want to rate here? Oh, Lord. I want to do somebody different this time. Well, she hasn't been going long. I'm going to give it to Nintendo Land, Mindy, who is streaming Super Mario Odyssey. So until next time, I am the Mad Conservative Crime Fighter, and I'll hope to see you around the arcade soon. Have a good night, everybody. As I'm trying to pull up the daggum credits to my daggum podcast, because I don't have that loaded in. Oh, yeah, I actually did have it loaded in. Ha 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 ha. We'll see you soon.